One man, one mission, to rid the world of chronic anxiety once and for all. The Anxiety Guy, Dennis Simsek, shares his personal transformation from living a life filled with overwhelming worry to becoming a full-fledged positivity machine, a leading authority in generalized anxiety. Dennis gets to the truth of your mental health challenges and sets you on a path to transforming each and every area of your life. Here he is, the one and only, the Anxiety Guy.
My friends, my extended family, welcome to episode 292. This podcast episode is brought to you by theanxietyguy.com. Head over to theanxietyguy.com and learn more about all the resources that will take you towards your healing journey today at theanxietyguy.com. And in today's podcast episode, I want to talk about fun. And as I talk about fun, I know that a lot of you are remembering the Instagram post that I posted that showed me playing basketball, a new passion of mine that I started about 5-6 months ago. And a lot of people have told me, Dennis, you're too old. Dennis, you're too sore. Dennis, you're too this, you're too that. And I just kept going. Because, at some point in your life, you have to start living out the childhood that you never got to. When I was a kid, I was forced to do things that my heart wasn't into. I wanted to do other things, but never found the time, never found the guidance, never found the courage. So now, what we need to do is we need to find our fun again. And we have to be respectful as far as what stage a person is in their anxiety healing journey. Some are at the beginning, some are new to this, some are in the middle, some are at the end. No matter where you are, you're exactly where you need to be. But I want to share something with you before we go deep into this podcast episode. You can't wait for the right time or person or event in order to become who you are meant to become and do what you need to do. Too many of us are waiting for the right time, post-anxiety, to find our fun, rather than realizing that when we find our fun first, this leads to the release of suppressed negative energy and gives us perspective. And you know what heals quicker than anything else in the world? Perspective. Perspective that you start to believe at a heart level. Perspective that turns into a belief system through action. Perspective is the key. And you know what? Anything can heal anybody at any time, because anything can create new perspective for anybody at any time. That's why I'm a big fan of every kind of tool to heal anxiety. All of them work. All of them work at separate times for people because it gives them perspective. Finding your fun is no different. It can give you perspective. But what holds us back from finding fun once again? You know what holds us back most is what people will think of what we do. People will think of what we do. Oh God, I can't risk it. I can't risk looking like an idiot, looking stupid, or being criticized by someone. I couldn't handle it because we're so sensitive to that. Well, you know what? Healing shows up when you start to embrace vulnerability. You are vulnerable when you close your eyes and do a meditation session or a reframing session. That's called vulnerability and courage mixed in one. You are vulnerable when you're 65 years old and you go to a high school basketball court and start shooting some basketball hoops. You're vulnerable whenever you speak up in a crowd. Who cares? Because throughout the day, you're going to need moments of courage. And you know when those moments will show up because you feel them. A part of you says, oh God, don't go there. That's the inner child trying to keep you in your comfort zones. And then a part of you says, enough is enough. It's time to live a different life being who I'm truly supposed to be. so we mustn't be held back by what people think about what we do. Number 2 reason is the age factor. We convince ourselves that we're too old to start what we've always wanted to. I'm too old to start that book. I'm too old to start gardening. I'm too old, my back hurts, yada, yada, yada. I'm too old to start that sport. I'm too old to start writing. I'm too old to even start reading. It's not that you're too old. The idea of being too old is a defense mechanism by the inner child trying to drag you back in to your comfort zones. And as long as you know that, you can find new perspectives. Number 3 reason is the stories around our minds and bodies being too fatigued and overwhelmed to take on fun. This is very, very important because we tell ourselves stories all the time. We find heart sense, we find intuition sporadically throughout the day. But with that intuition, the intuition that guides us towards what we need to do for our minds and bodies and spirits and this world to make it a better place, so comes the editing from your mind. Your mind loves to edit everything. It says, oh, no, this isn't the right time for that. Or you're not capable of that. Or you know what, you're too old. Or you're too young. Or you're too big. Or you're too small. The mind always wants to keep us doing what we're doing because familiarity equals safety. But as long as we understand that these messages, these defense mechanisms come from the inner child looking to protect us, we can again find new perspective. And remember what heals? New perspective. Not new perspective at a mind level, new perspective at a heart level. We start to believe it, we start to act on it, we start to become it. And when you start becoming your perspective, that's when change truly happens. How do we find our fun? We find our fun by recognizing what you loved doing as a child but never had the chance to pursue it with any kind of consistency. You didn't have the guide, you didn't have the person, you didn't have the time, and you need to start living out the childhood that you never got to live out starting today. It's your right to have fun. And guess what fun is? Fun is a skill. I bet you'll never hear that anywhere else. Fun is a skill? Fun doesn't come to you. You go to fun. And as you become consistent, what tends to happen is you become fun. Literally, it's a part of your identity. Number 2 way to find your fun is by recognizing what you've put on the shelf, so to speak, because of anxiety. What have you put on the shelf because of your anxiety? It's not about healing anxiety first and then having fun. It's about having fun first and then healing anxiety in the meantime. Number 3, you find your fun by starting slowly, being consistent, and listening to your intuitive side over the edits that your mind wants to do to take you out of this endeavor. Remember, anything new is unsafe, perceived as being unsafe by the inner child as a protective mechanism. So it's your job to be the person that you needed when you were a child, guiding that scared and vulnerable part of us towards freedom. Warriors, without fun, there can be no healing. We don't have the capability to tap into the resources that are lying stagnant within us that will help us to re-perceive our fears if there is no fun. So starting today, your job is to start finding your fun once again. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Truly understand that. When you win, I win, and I know that we are winning. If you're enjoying this podcast, please give it a positive rate and review and share it. Share it with somebody, a group, a forum. It would mean so much to me. Remember that you are more than anxiety. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for being an important part of the Anxiety Guy podcast community. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a positive rate and review. If you're searching for further support on your road to recovery from anxiety, head over to anxietyexit.com and take part in the powerful End the Anxiety program based around the CBT model. If you're searching for a more one-on-one approach, you can sign up now for personal coaching sessions with Dennis via Skype. Remember, you are more than anxiety. See you in the next episode.